one half of the dynamic duo, maybe the dynamic trio, maybe the dynamic quadro. And this guy's up, he's doing a whole lot of things in the boxing world. And, he pulled some strings tonight. Well, at least I hope he did, because, the guy who doesn't like coming on here, one of his prized possessions as far as training and managing goes, is a stickler when it comes to doing these type of radio interviews, radio shows, interviews, stuff like that. But we're gonna press forward. Without a doubt, one of our favorite people of all time right here on ATG Radio, one of the best trainers in the entire world, period, bar none. And he's a cool dude. And let me tell you something. In honor of him, guess what I'm doing tonight? Look, I've had no vices before. I used to smoke back in the day. I smoked a little weed. I quit smoking cigarettes almost 2 years ago. Now I've recently taken up a little bit of drinking. Why? Because he makes it seem cool. No, not drinking and driving, folks. Kids all around. But my man, one of the best trainers in the world, handsome Henry Ramirez. Henry, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, man? Thanks for the intro.
It's true. Hey, man, look, the last time we had, every time we have you on the show, it's a blast, man. The last time we had you and Chris, who we're going to try to get back on momentarily, it's a blast as always. I mean, we can only imagine what goes on when, you're training with your fighters. I know we follow you on Facebook and on Twitter, the Electric One. You just seem like you have a good time with your life. I mean, you're a straight-up great family man, and you're a great trainer, man. I mean, tell us what it's like, how it seems like to us, how much you're enjoying life.
You know what? I truly am, man. I truly am enjoying life. I get to do something I'm very passionate about and I love and that I used to do for free, and at 36 years old, when I became an assistant trainer to my old amateur coach, never did I imagine it, get to this. I never in my wildest dreams, but I think, I'm thankful. But, we do have a lot of fun with it, but, we work extremely hard also, We do work extremely hard, I know. Like I said, I like to get out and have a lot of fun, man. I'm going to live my life with no regrets.
Hey, Henry, how you doing, man? This is Michael Dawes.
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. You're talking about, working hard in the gym. Talk to us about, who you're working with right now. Is Josito Lopez in the gym right now? Is he preparing for anything? Or?
No, we're actually going to give him a little break, you know what I mean? Coming off 2 tough fights in less than a 90-day span with Victor Ortiz and Canelo Alvarez. We feel good to give him a little bit of a break. He'll probably be back in the ring sometime February or March. He is in the gym, though. He'll come. His brother's a pro fighter also. He's getting back in the mix. He'll come watch Chris spar, be supportive of Chris and everybody else that I have, Jonathan Arellano, Daniel Livingston that I'm working with now also. Another heavyweight I may be working with. I'm not going to say anything yet. But, we're busy and just, moving forward, marching forward, trying to close out 2012 with a bang and, obviously get to a good start next year.
Well, wait, real quick, Henry. Let me cut you off real quick. We can't go any further right now. We got to stop this. We got to stop this madness going on right now because look, this isn't the dynamic solo tonight. We hyped this up. We plugged this to the boxing world this evening. Nationwide 347-934-0137. The dynamic duo is going to be on here. The last time we had both we had sensational ratings, sensational numbers, and sensational feedback. So without further ado, Amanda, I'm being honest. We're definitely privy to have on the show this evening. Henry, you can attest to this. He's going into Venezuela in a couple of weeks to battle for the mandatory #1 WBC championship contender, I guess you can call it. I don't know if I was losing my train of thought there. But without further ado, it's an honor and a privilege to have back on ATG Radio Chris, the Nightmare, Arreola.
That was a pretty good intro. That was pretty good, man. I'm pretty impressed.
Look, man, I got to give it.
That was intricate, man. I was like, damn.
Dude, we got to give it to you because I'm going to tell you like this. Look, Henry even says it himself. We've seen you on videos. Actually, we're being joined by someone that I actually learned you did it on one of his videos, esnewsreporting.com, ES News on YouTube. Mr. Ellie Setback. He seems like the only guy that gets anything with you when he gets in touch with you. And I remember, I don't vaguely remember, this is embedded in my head, Chris, that you said that you don't like doing radio interviews. You know, you'd rather just focus on training and taking up the task in hand. But Ellie Setback is joining us this evening. He is a new honorary member of the show. Obviously, everybody knows his work. But, Chris, I got to ask you like this, man. Bermane Stiverne, hard puncher, exciting fighter. Going into this, basically I'm hoping this is the only generic question we ask you guys tonight. And this is, Henry, you two jump in on this. What are you looking forward to going into this fight with this guy?
You know what? Honestly, I'm looking for a tough fight. Just because a lot of people don't know about him. I know about him. He has an extensive amateur career, man. And to me, the amateur is everything, especially in the pros. The pros is so much easier if you have some amateur experience, and he had a lot of it. He fought a lot of international fights, and like you said, he has pop. And it's not so much that he has pop, but he's smart. And he's smart because of the amateur experience. Someone like Stiverne will just run circles like someone of Mitchell's caliber, but I'm not like Mitchell. I'm a true boxer. I've been boxed for 20-some years, So I'm expecting a tough fight.
Henry, what are your thoughts? I mean, how's he coming into this stuff, getting ready, Henry?
First of all, hitting on Stiverne, I've followed Stiverne since, I believe, 2005 or 2006. The first time I'd seen him fight, I'd actually seen him at the Garden when Judah fought Wladimir. It was the first time I'd actually seen him in person, and then he fought when Judah fought Mayweather. I believe he fought there also. So I had started watching Bermane Stiverne long time ago before anybody else knew who he was, because at that time Chris was still an up-and-comer, and I was watching any heavyweight that we may end up fighting, So he's always been on my radar as someone that we could possibly fight. He presents a challenge. He's probably the toughest fight for Chris since the Adamek fight, fast hands, good pop, but he also has tendency where he goes through lapses where he doesn't do much, And I think with someone like Chris, that could be his undoing. But by no means is he an easy fight. And just because people may not know about him doesn't mean that we don't know about him. I've known about Bermane Stiverne, like I said, for like 6-7 years already.
Hey, Chris, this is Michael Dawes. How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good, man. Just chilling right here.
Well, as Frank mentioned, he was going to ask the only generic question. The question that I have is not really generic, and it might not be an easy question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. As far as I know, Bermane Stiverne is still promoted by Don King. Is Don King affiliated with this show in any way?
How is Don King affiliated?
Yeah, is he promoting the show, or is it a WBA
event?
Man.
He won the purse bid, man. He won the purse bid, so he has all the power in this. Like, honestly, I couldn't tell you if it's going to be on TV. I don't know if there's going to be ring card girls. I can't even tell you anything. Like, I have no idea about the fight because, Don King's running the show of everything because he won the purse bid. So it's
after your last
Don
fight,
King show.
After your last fight, when you were getting interviewed, you had a few things to say about Don King. Are you worried about maybe the potential outcome of this fight, knowing that he's involved? And what do you think about him being?
I honestly, once he won the purse bid, I was like, damn, what a dick. I just had a feeling that he just did it just to get at me and to stick it to me and say, yeah, motherfucker, and just stuck it to me. But I'm not worried about it. He can't come in the ring for Stiverne, so it's going to be me against Stiverne, and that's it. Don King could talk all he wants and say whatever he wants to do and run the show or whatever it is. It's at the end of the day, it's going to be me against Stiverne, and that's it.
So what do you think about fighting in Venezuela also?
You know what? Like I said it before, and I'll say it again. It doesn't matter where the venue is or who's there, who's attending, who's not attending. I'm in like Mayweather says, I'm a prize fighter, man, and you're paying me, I'm there. And that's where the money's at, so that's where I have to go, man. And I'm sure it's going to be a packed house, and there's going to be a lot of rowdy fans there. And you know, I'm Hispanic, man. I speak Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish, so I'm at home.
And now, Chris, and Henry, I got to ask you this too. This is, basically a two-part question. What's a little animosity there with Don King? If anybody knows anything about you, Chris, about the recent stuff about a year ago, are you concerned at all? I mean, with Don King, taking this into another country, is it essential, man? Is it a must for you to go in there and knock this guy out as soon as possible?
What people really don't know is why I said what I said. A lot of people have no idea that in the press conference leading to the fight, don't quote me verbatim because I don't know exactly what it said, but he called Mexican wetbags. He called, and I'm Mexican. I took to offense to that. My parents are Mexican. I got very offended by that. Now, as far as the fight and the promotion and what's going on, I'm not worried about it. Henry?
Just because I've been asked a lot as far as, what ties King has to the fight, like you guys have asked. Like I said, he won the purse bid, but other than winning the purse bid and being the lead promoter of the event, there's no rematch clause. There's no, we don't have anything else tying us to King other than just this fight. You know what I mean? He won't be involved with us or anything like that. Now, the thing is, Chris is alluding to, I could tell you what he said. In Corpus Christi, it was, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday of the week of the fight. And what he said, I understand what he was saying, but you just can't say that. He was talking about Showtime hiring a Mexican to be the sports programming director or boxing. You know what I'm talking about, Steven Espinoza. And he was saying that he was alluding to saying that basically Mexicans have come a long way, saying no more wetbacks running through the fields picking in fruit. Well, you could reverse that and say what he was trying. It'd be if Chris saying, African Americans have come a long way, no more, and then put your racial slur, however you want, doing whatever. We got one running the country. It just came out wrong. I understand what he was trying to say, but you can't use that racial slur no matter what you're trying to say. Now, as far as being concerned about, Venezuela is a Spanish-speaking country. Chris speaks Spanish. I speak Spanish. Staverne Haitian. I don't think he speaks any Spanish. So I'm not really concerned. We're going to do our best to get neutral judges, and, we'll see what happens.
Hey, Chris, Henry, how you doing? This is Mark Abrams. You guys just talked about what you don't know about the logistics of the fight. What do you know? Because, let's be honest, this guy, Don King, bid over $1 million in the fight, and that's a big chunk of change for you guys. And there really has not been any formal announcement, and tomorrow is a month out from December 15th. What have you guys? Have you guys at least gotten a bout agreement from the fight?
The bout agreement, yes. We signed about 3 weeks ago, I believe. I believe we signed 3 weeks ago. And other than what you said, the first bid being $1.1 million and knowing what the percentage we got is, that's about all we know. I'll be honest, I don't know anything as far as network and anything else.
But it's 100% sure ticketed December 15th for Venezuela.
We signed a bout agreement to that,
And that's what we're shooting for. That's what we're getting ready for. December 15th. So that's the day that we're shooting for.
Okay.
Hey, Chris, how you doing? It's Ellie.
What up, Ellie? How you been, man?
I'm good, man. I'm jealous because I was just at the Robert Garcia gym this week, and I asked the fighters where do the most beautiful women come from, and they said Venezuela. So, maybe you need to thank Don King.
He's probably going to send a couple hookers up to my room, too.
From the world of boxing?
Yeah, man. You know what? I'm not worried about the hookers or anything like that, man. I'm worried about fighting, man. That's what I'm worried about. I don't really care about the woman right now. I get whatever I get after. All I care is about that fight, about getting that belt, man. I'm making her look a statement in this fight. I want to prove to people and to the world that I am the best heavyweight out there. I will prove it, and that's the main goal.
You know what happens a lot when I talk to people about the heavyweight division, and they always say, "Oh, it's so boring, it's so boring." And I say, "But Chris Arreola's not boring." And then they stop and they go, "Oh, you're right." Why do you think they forget it until I remind them?
Because you know what, I as much as I've made my statement out there, I haven't been consistent enough for people to be remembering me. But right now, it's always a "what have you done for me lately" type of day. You know what I mean? So I haven't really done anything since, Molina. So people tend to forget. There's always in with the new. There's always in with the new, man.
Hey, Chris. This is Michael Dawes again. I wanted to mention something. We had a guest Monday. He just found out he's getting the fight with Tyson Fury in Ireland, Kevin Kingpin Johnson. And we asked him, besides Tyson Fury, if he is successful, what does he want to do? Who would you want to fight? And he just happened to mention your name, Chris Arreola, and he said that he didn't think that your people would take the fight, and he said that you're not a hard punching guy, and he says you're not a real heavyweight, and basically called you a chump. What do you think?
No, I'll tell you, Doc. I'll tell you what he said. He said we asked him about listen. He was being nicely. Chris, we ain't going to BS you on here, man. He said something. Somebody mentioned something about you being a big puncher. He's like, everybody's calling Chris Arreola a big puncher. Chris Arreola a big puncher. He ain't a big puncher. He's a big eater. That's exactly what he said, dude. I'm just going to throw it out there like that.
There was other
I like food. Don't get me wrong. I love food, man. Food's the greatest shit ever. But you know what? I'm not. People, I walk around right now at 245, 250. That's the highest I get. As far as me being a big puncher, hey, I got more knockouts than he does, so.
That's true. That is.
But at the end of the day, Kevin is Kevin, man. I like Kevin, man. He's a good friend of mine. But if it ever came down for me to fight him, I would gladly fight him. I ain't no punk. I'll fight anybody, anytime. But I like Kevin. Kevin's a good dude.
Hey, Chris, how you doing? This is Eli Vasquez.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Yeah. I was actually the one that asked Kevin that you was a hard puncher because I believe you are. And I was actually the one to ask him, and he was like, "Oh, you're not a hard puncher." And what he said was that if he would fight you, that the first 5 rounds, he said he will fight with his hands low and let you hit him. I mean, that's exactly what he said.
Let me tell you, it ain't going to go 5 rounds. It won't even go that far. Look, guys, look. I know Kevin. This is Henry. I know Kevin. Kevin's been out here to camp with us. And Chris has a way of letting guys believe that they're better than they are in sparring, so to speak. Chris doesn't beat guys up in sparring. He works with guys. There's so many guys that have come and had the best of Chris, and I bet they wonder, how the fuck does this guy have the record he does? Because on fight night, when the lights are bright and it's for real, it's a different story, man. I know Kevin. There's no way in hell Kevin Johnson could keep Chris off of him for 12 rounds, let alone maybe even 5 or 6. Kevin's a strong, durable guy, but he's got nothing that would be able to keep Chris off of him.
And you know what? I second that because you know what, man. I guarantee you, I've got my ass kicked plenty of times in sparring. A lot of times. It's sparring. It's sparring. But when the lights are shining, man, I'm a different person. I'm a different beast. All those days that I got my ass kicked, I learned something. Even if I got smacked around with a jab or a right hand, whatever it is, I learned something. But the days that I put it on them, it's boring because I just put it on them, but I'm not gonna get paid, so fuck it. Come fight time when the lights are bright and the cameras are on and everyone's watching, it's game time. That's me. That's my time.
See, guys, the thing with Chris sparring is I don't necessarily need to see him looking sharp every day in the gym or, oh, you look great in sparring, you look great. As long as I know we're getting the rounds in and he's really working, there's going to be off days of sparring. There's going to be days where, he says, I'm feeling a little sluggish today. But, Chris, get the rounds in. But I know as long as he's in shape, come together on fight night, he's going to be a motherfucker to beat, And I'll go on, and I know Kevin, I'll go on any show with Kevin. Ain't no way in hell he's beating Chris Arreola. No way in hell.
And Chris, if you become successful against Stiverne, which should. What's the next step? You're gonna fight against Vitaly Klitschko for a rematch. What are you planning to do different this time if you get your hands on Vitaly?
The difference is that I already done the difference. The difference has already been made. I'm a different person. I'm not the same person that I was when I fought Vitaly the first time. I take more responsibility for my actions and for what I do, and there's consequences for everything. There's no failure. There's only an outcome. Whatever you put your mind to, that's what's going to happen. And I honestly believe I am the best heavyweight in the world, and it's time for me to go out there and prove it. For me to prove it is to just show it and come fight time, especially on the 25th. That's the first day that I got to show it.
15th.
15. Sorry.
Put the Christmas.
I know. But I just got to prove it to the world, and come next year, I'm gonna be the undisputed world heavyweight champion.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey,
Chris.
Real quick, Chris, I gotta ask you this too. I'm gonna have something on Chris Guns. 1 second, brother. You go. I know you got next, man. But Chris, let me ask you this. I mean, with this, I never thought I was excited when you fought Vitaly. I thought you put on a great effort, and you mentioned at this point you're a different fighter from that point. Well, come on, man.
I'm not a fighter. I don't want to say I'm not a different fighter because, I'm learning the thing too. I'm basically the same fighter but a different person.
No, I get that. No, but I'm going to tell you like this. That was not the fight I wanted to see you in because, I wanted to see you in Wladimir. At the time, Wladimir I thought was the second best heavyweight on the planet next to his brother Wladimir. Obviously, Wladimir is a little bit more decorated because he's got more belts. He's a lineal champion. He's been that way for so many years. He's on that big streak. I always thought Vitaly coming back was kind of, don't get me wrong, Vitaly's a bad motherfucker. But I'm going to say like this, the fight that I thought for many years that needed to happen was you and Wladimir, not you and Vitaly. I thought matchup, because, the most cliche statement in boxing is styles makes fights. But you and Vitaly, I think, is one of the best stylistic matchups that can be made because one, and I'm going to be honest with you and Henry right now, one, you'll either see Wladimir outbox the shit out of you in the fight, or you're going to see you beat this guy from pillar to post inside the ring. And that's the best part about, that stylistic matchup. People knew going into the fight with you and Vitaly, it was going to be an ugly fight to a guy who uses that lean and that awkward hands-down style. We knew that was going to be an ugly fight and a hard fight to adjust to. And you're a talented boxer, but you and Wladimir, in heavyweight boxing, period, is the best matchup, I think, at this moment in time that could be made. Now, Klitschko versus Klitschko, throw that shit out the window, but Wladimir Klitschko versus Chris Arreola is the best fight in the heavyweight division right now because it could go. That's one of them fights, stylistically, the best match. I mean, Henry, you got to agree on that.
I agree with you. I've always felt that stylistically, Chris would be the best matchup for Wladimir because, the kind of guys who've given Wladimir problems in the past are aggressive, pressure-type fighters. Like, he's fought guys like Tony Thompson recently and Eddie Chambers and, guys of that sort. None of them are naturally aggressive, pressure-type guys. They've all got in there and gave their best effort, but Chris fights the natural style that would give Wladimir the most trouble. And, guys, every time I see Emanuel Steward, when Mayweather fought Ortiz, and when I seen him in July, when he was promoting a local show here at Pachanga, he would always tell me, Henry, I'm telling you, we got to do Wladimir and Chris Arreola. We got to do it. And I said, Emanuel, I agree, but I think it's going to be a little more difficult than just you and I agreeing, the trainers agreeing, But every time I see Emanuel, he would always tell me, we got to do Arreola against Wladimir.
And don't get me wrong, man. I respect everyone I fight, everyone. But I always go in there believing that I'm the better person, the better fighter, the one that's going to give his everything. I would die in the ring. What the hell?
Don't pay attention to that. You hear that? You hear that British lady speaking Chris, only you and I can hear her, so don't pay attention to that.
Oh, my bad. She scared the shit out of me. I thought it was like on a porn site or something.
She's going to call again. Pretend she's not even there, dog. Pretend she's some groupie, bro. Don't even pay attention to her.
You know what? I respect her, but I believe that I would just take his heart. That's me. As corny and as retarded as it sounds, it's like a Rocky IV type of movie, type of fight. I'm going to keep coming and coming and coming. No matter what he's going to give me, I'm going to keep coming. And either he's going to have the word to take it, or just he's going to crumble.
Let me ask you, Henry and Chris, who do you guys think is the craziest fighter in the heavyweight division? Do you think it's Derek Chisora?
Chris Arreola?
You think he's crazier
it depends.
than
You're talking about antics in the ring or outside the ring. Well, yeah, Chisora's he's a little nutty, man. That's a little disrespectful, personally. Spit in someone's face, that's pretty disgusting.
I think it's Chris Arreola.
I won't say names, but I heard that if you sleep at Chris Arreola's home, you might get pissed on.
Allie, you're bringing up a good point here, and I'm glad you brought that up because, look, let's be honest. You get Chris Arreola, obviously you get Henry Ramirez together in the same room on the same line. You can't talk too much about boxing. You got to talk about their adventures, or let's just say their misadventures. They spoke on it before. Recently, let's say, guys, the last time you guys were on the show together has been about, 6 months to 8 months. I think it was about 6 months. But Chris, you're the nightmare. He's handsome Henry. You got to tell me there had to be a couple of adventures that you've experienced since the last time you guys have been over the show. Maybe something happened this past weekend. Who knows? But you guys got to talk about a funny story that's going down.
With Chris, something always happens.
I have a great story. My wife beat up her sister on Sunday. Beat the shit out of her. I was so proud. I'm not gonna lie. She beat the fuck out of her, and I was like, oh shit! It's like I was waiting. I was double dutching. When should I step in? Should I step in now? Should I step in now? Like a ref and shit. And finally, I stepped in and had to pick up her sister, throw her outside, and she got mad and broke my window.
Wow.
Hey, but my wife, dude, I swear to God, I was probably one of the happiest moments of my life. I was proud.
In 1-1.
Excuse me?
Henry, look, man, you gotta throw something. Look, he just broke up a hilarious story from this past weekend, man.
You know what? Mine actually just happened tonight, guys. It was nothing crazy. I went to dinner with my daughter and her best friend, and as I was sitting there waiting to get seated, a guy comes up to me and starts talking to me about boxing, telling me how big of a fan he is of Chris's and Josecito, and tells me he likes seeing us on TV and everything that we stand for and represent. I said, okay, thank you, I appreciate it, man. I tell him that the best is still yet to come, but to stay tuned. Anyway, so after dinner and a couple of Ciroc red berries, the manager. Responsible father. And 2 drinks, big deal. So the manager and the server come up to me in front of the guy that's cooking in front of you. We had the tep on, and there was another group next to us. They're like, oh, the gentleman you were talking to while you were waiting to get seated covered your entire bill. And I'm like, what? And then she goes, yeah, he told the manager he's a huge fan of what you do, and he covered your entire bill, man. I was pretty blown away. I was actually pretty humbled, man. I walked out of there kind of shaking my head like I couldn't believe it. My daughter's like, damn, he covered your whole bill? I was pretty humbled, man.
You sure he wasn't waiting outside for you in his car, man? Stalking you a little bit.
Henry, Josecito told me you're the mayor of Riverside.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. I talk shit and say, yeah, I run Riverside, but it's true.
He's right, man. He's out there a lot. He's out there, talking to his people.
I get a lot of love because, people recognize, they see what Chris and Jose do, and obviously it feels good that, when you get a lot of love, especially here at home first, I've heard of a lot of fighters who don't get love in their hometown, and it's nice to see that people appreciate what we try to do out here.
How come there are not a lot of Mexican heavyweight fighters from Mexico?
How could there?
You know what? I believe honestly, the reason I'm so tall, I'm so big, is American food. I
was just gonna say that, but I do
all the hormones and everything. Because honestly, my father's 5'5", and so is my mother. In school, I did distribute everybody's lunch if they didn't want to eat it. So I just got all the hormones. I got big. In Mexico, there's not. They eat a straight cow that they fed, regular grass to. Out here, they're giving them hormones to the cows, so the meat comes out more, the chickens and everything. So out there, they just eat what there is.
Mm-hmm. I always say that.
Daughter's gonna be about 6'2".
Oh yeah, my daughter's gonna be huge. She's 5'3". She's 10.
Damn.
Henry,
how tall is her now?
5'3".
I want to know what makes you guys click. Why do you trust Henry in your corner so much, Chris?
Because he's gonna tell me how it is. He's gonna tell me how it is in the boxing gym, in life, and everything. He's just an honest person. Sometimes it's cool, but sometimes damn, shut the fuck up. You got to be that much of a dick. But that's just the way he is. And as a person, he's a scumbag. But in the ring, honestly, he knows what he's doing. Those that can't, they teach, and he's honestly a really good teacher, a great teacher. Shit.
I
hate doing his horn, but he's he's good at what he does. He dedicates his life as boxing.
Mm-hmm. And there's been some people that used to say that you were an underachiever and you'd come into camp so out of shape and stuff. What did you change after those two defeats to Vitaly and Adamic?
Honestly, it wasn't even a defeat to Adamic, man. It's honestly a beating after him when I beat God darn it, El Toro.
Manny Quesada.
Yeah, Manny Quesada. Honestly, I should have never gone 12 rounds with that guy. No disrespect toward him. I like the dude. He's a cool dude, but he shouldn't have been in there no more than 4 rounds with me. There's no reason why I should have gone 12 rounds with that guy. And we went to Houston, and I respect Shields, but I was learning the same thing. I'm learning the same thing there that Henry's been telling me forever. I'm like, you know what, Henry, you're fucking right. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, dude, why not just stay home and just work?
We
do what you're supposed to do. It's easy.
We got to Houston, and I think 4 days after we got there, Chris wanted to leave. I'm like, nope. We're going to finish up the 3.5 weeks here.
Liar.
Yeah, you wanted to go home. You wanted to go home the first week. I said, we're going to finish up the few weeks here. I'm going to drink every day I'm here, watch you train, and let Ronnie take control, and I'm going to be good.
And I tell you, he drank every fucking night he was there. Every night he was drinking out in Houston. Every night. Even after, my wife came down, this dude was still drinking every night.
Hey, Henry, how you doing? Mark Abrams again. You just mentioned about the conversation about about Wladimir Klitschko, the Emanuel Steward, and obviously everyone in the boxing community is still mourning his loss. Tell us what a guy like Emanuel Steward meant to you as an up and coming trainer and a guy whose record and accolades speak for themselves.
It was funny because after. It was funny because after we did a fighter meeting with the HBO announcing crew when Josecito was going to fight Jesse Vargas, and it was after the weigh-in, and I ran into Emanuel inside Wolfgang Puck's at the MGM, and he was sitting by himself. He goes, Henry, hey, have a seat with me. So naturally, I sat down, we chopped it up for a while, and just listening to his stories, and then he was constantly telling me, I'm telling you. Chris Arreola is the only American heavyweight that I care to see fight Wladimir. He's the only one that would come and create some real excitement. He was the one who would make Wladimir really, really fight. and so that the last time I spoke to him, like I said, was in July. I spoke to him, I remember the day after Christmas, he had called me because he was talking about getting his Pachanga shows ready over here. And I got to talk to him about just a lot of different things, man. It was great to pick his brain and just to hear some of the stories that some of the fighters that he had to deal with went through. And I'm thinking, like, damn, okay, maybe it's just not me. You know what I mean? He told me some stories about Wladimir, and I was a little surprised. Like, damn, okay, maybe it's just not me who has to deal with the bullshit.
Henry, and also Chris, what do you guys think about the fight this weekend? Seth Mitchell and Jonathan Banks. And James Toney just last week told me that Banks needs to be arrested because he's impersonating a fighter.
Damn. I mean, Jonathan Banks is a natural cruiserweight. You know, he's a guy with some ability. I think he'll give Mitchell a decent test. I think ultimately Mitchell's strength will get him out of there. Seth, you know, I don't know what to think of Seth. You know, I mean, he's a work in progress. From what it seems, he seems like a nice guy. You know, I know he's Al Heyman, as we are, so a possibility of a him and Chris fight, who knows down the line if it could happen or not. But, you know, I wish him well. You know, I don't think he gets past 3 or 4 rounds with Chris, to be honest. Tailor-made for Chris.
Yeah, I remember.
Honestly, every time I watch him fight, I think about Travis Walker every time. And I think that's as good as he's going to get, like a Travis Walker type of fighter.
I remember, like, a couple months ago, HBO had a list. I think Max Kellerman made a list of the 4 best American heavyweights, and you were one of them, Deontay Wilder, Seth Mitchell, and I think Brian Jennings was the 4th one. Do you see anybody in America coming up that can fill the shoes of those once they go, besides yourself?
Honestly, I don't. They're all work in progress. All of them, period. They're all work in progress. You know, we're also going to wait like another year or 2 before you see anybody, but I'm going to be taking care of the heavyweight division at that time, so there's really nobody for me.
How great do you think those are in terms of all-time great heavyweights?
Excuse me? Sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said, how great do you think the Klitschkos have been in terms of all-time greats?
Oh, they're great. They've dominated the division, obviously. You know, Vitaly, what can you say? I got my ass kicked by him from pillar to post, man, and my respects go out to him. I think he's one of the greatest heavyweights out there.
Hey, Chris and Henry, you guys just alluded to that you don't think there's much going on in the American heavyweight scene. Have you guys been keeping tabs on guys like Price and Fury over in the United Kingdom?
I mean, I know about them and I follow the results. I really don't follow any of their fights online or anything like that. You know, I mean, I know ultimately, I know people are pretty high on David Price. You know, Fury, I'm not so sure of. You know, going back to alluding to the Klitschkos, I mean, you know, they're physically as they are, as dominant as they are physically, but they're pretty intelligent. You know, for anybody to be naive and to not give them the just due, it's shameful. And to think that they couldn't compete in any era, I actually think they could, man. Guys that are 6'7", 6'8", physically dominant. How could they not compete in the era? You know, you mean to tell me guys 5'10", 5'11" from the 60s and 70s would be able to get inside and knock them out? I don't see it. You know.
Don't forget, though, as good as people think David Price is, Bermane stopped him in the amateurs, actually. So this has the opportunity to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, people are real high on David Price. Like I said, I don't think I've seen one fight of him. I only know the name.
Well, you know what, though? The thing on David Price, I'll say it like this. I mean, I can't give it, you know, you mentioned, I guess you haven't seen much on him. The guy's got a lot of fanfare coming from the UK. I mean, him and Tyson Fury, their feud that isn't happening. It's kind of being built over there in the UK as like a, you know, and I hate to even say this, maybe this is blasphemy, but it's kind of being built up as like a Pacquiao-Mayweather type of rivalry at the moment right now. And it's, you know, I mean, we're hearing the noise over here. We actually spoke to both of them here. And to be honest with you, you know, basically tidbit of us talking to both of them, they had a ton of respect for you. You know, Tyson Fury, he actually did say he wants to come to America. and he wants to fight the likes of you or Seth Mitchell and stuff like that. I mean, you know, for the sake of this, I mean, this is one of the biggest shit talkers in boxing. Period. We know, Chris, you're good at talking some shit too when it comes to that stuff. You know, for Twitter purposes, so we can blast this out on there on Twitter. Tyson Fury calling you out about a month ago here on this show. What would your response be to that?
No, I never turn down the fight, man. I love fighting, man. That's what I do. I honestly, literally love fighting. I like it. It's my sport. It's my love. So if he wants to fight me, I would love to fight someone like him, man. I respect him. You know, he's a fighter just like me. But come fight time, I'm gonna be there to take his heart. I'm gonna be there to just win the fight by all means necessary. And especially, I'll be ready.
Dude, I hate to say this, though. Let me tell you something. This is like a trend on this show. We got a lot of people that listen in on this show. You, Brian Jennings, and Tyson Fury, sometimes David Price, you can give him honorable mention, but you are the three, you know, most mentioned heavyweights on the show, probably more mentioned than the Klitschkos. I mean, we don't get the opportunity to talk to the Klitschkos on this show, but anybody we talk to, whether it's, you know, like an Eddie Chambers or Brian, they all say, you know, they all put you in that category as the best heavyweight, one of the best heavyweights in the world, the best heavyweight in the United States. And, you know, I don't want to take too much. We kept you guys a lot longer than we expected, and I apologize if you guys had a ton to do, but once we get wrapped up in talking boxing, I got to ask you this, man, you know, and I'm sure you've been asked this, another generic question. The American heavyweights fighting each other. You got, you know, you're fighting Bermane Stiverne, good puncher. You know, he got some talent. I've seen him train. He trains out here in Las Vegas. Not an American heavyweight. He's from Canada, from Haiti, stuff like that. One of those imports. American heavyweights, the top guys like you, Seth Mitchell, Chris. You know, there's you, Seth Mitchell, Brian Jennings, Eddie Chambers, but he's moving to cruiserweight. A couple other guys. What's the reluctancy of, you know, your promoters, your handlers, their handlers, putting, you know, the top 5 guys in the United States in matchups against each other? Because I'd be excited, and I think that I'm almost like the consensus. I mean, everybody that's on the show, we have 100 co-hosts on this show, and we would love to see you, Seth Mitchell, love to see you, Eddie Chambers, you and Tomas Adam that mixed it up again. What's the reluctance? He's not an American heavyweight. But what's the reluctancy? And Henry, you too, man. What's the reluctancy?
I'm gonna hit this right on the head for you.
Huh?
I'm gonna nail this one for you. Listen, for Chris, in order for Chris to fight one of those type of guys, it's not gonna happen on the ESPN. It's not gonna happen on the NBC Sports Network. It would have to happen on HBO or Showtime. And if the network's unwilling to do it, I mean, what kind of guy do you think? You know, what kind of guy do you think we're going to get for $25-30 grand? You know, that's what I try to tell people that, you know, were criticizing us when, you know, we were rebuilding Chris, so to speak, on ESPN. I said, you know, there's an economic side to the sport. Let's be honest. There's a business side. You know, when Chris's opponents are getting 25, 30,000, you're not going to get an Eddie Chambers type. You're not going to get a Brian Jennings type. You're not going to get a Kevin Johnson type, you know, for that type of money. It's just the reality of what it is, you know. And if HBO or Showtime is unwilling to put one of those guys on, economically, it's just not going to happen, guys. That's just the reality of what it is. I don't think there's any reluctancy on anybody's side other than the networks. You know, if these guys, you know, get paid a decent amount to fight Chris, I'm sure they'll do it. I don't think guys are fearful of Chris, and Chris isn't fearful of anybody. They're on the fight game to fight and make a name and, to be honest, make money. I mean, it's just not going to happen on an ESPN level fight.
Wait, Chris, I got to go with Chris and Henry. Wait, real quick, let me ask you like this. I mean, really, like, let's face it like this. HBO, every chance you get Jim Lampley, Max Kellerman. I mean, these guys basically fucking, you know, verbally give Seth Mitchell a blowjob every time they talk about him on the air. I mean, it could be 2 minimum weights fighting, and they bring up Seth Mitchell as being the greatest heavyweight that ever lived. But, I mean, as far as HBO is concerned, you don't think both of you guys could get a 7-figure, at least $1 million apiece, you know, $900,000 apiece to go in there and fight on an HBO. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If 2013 came about and they said Chris Arreola versus Seth Mitchell going down in, let's say, April on HBO, hands down, because it's been the premier division since boxing's been incepted, I would be more excited about that fight than if they did say Pacquiao and Mayweather was fighting or Pacquiao Canelo was fighting, stuff like that. I would be excited. I think that's a fight right there with two American heavyweights. And you guys can make some good money. I
agree. It'd be a great fight. It'd be entertaining, but a network, and I'm sure the network would, but, what type of money would they be willing to put out for a fight like that? I can assure you this. There would be no Chris Arreola and Seth Mitchell fight for, say, $250,000 each, It'd have to be somewhere along the lines of what you're talking about, but is it something the network would do? I agree. It would be an entertaining fight. It would create a buzz, but it's all up to the network also.
Like you guys said, you mentioned how you're both Al Heyman fighters, too. And you tell the truth. Not too many people know much about Al Heyman. What kind of guy is Al Heyman, Chris?
He's a dope dude. Honestly, I don't even call him. I call him Mr. Heyman. Just like that. Very nice guy. The nicest guy ever. So unassuming. There's nothing bad you can say about the man. Yeah, not too many people know about him. He stays in the background and just does business.
How much is a picture worth of him? Like you two guys, Henry and Chris taking a picture with Al Heyman and posting it up on Facebook or something like that. How much is that worth? You know what's funny? We have one from 2007 when Chris fought Malcolm Tan. He took a picture with Sam, us, the whole team, and Sam Watson goes, I don't take pictures for anybody. And there was a group picture that we took in the dressing. It was on the eve of De La Hoya and Mayweather.
I remember that.
In the dressing room, we took a group picture in the dressing room. But Al just doesn't take pictures, man. He's like Chris said, he's very unassuming, low-key. But I'll say one thing, guys. I know he gets criticized and ridiculed, but let me tell you, I've had countless conversations with him. He could care less. He's all about the fighter. He's fighter first and basically fuck what anybody else thinks.
He's like the man behind the curtain.
Yep, and that's why I had no hesitation signing Josecito with him when he approached us, because I'd already had an 8-year relationship dealing with him with Chris. So to me, it was a no-brainer.
All right, wait, time out, guys. Listen, real fast. I gotta ask you this, Chris. I mentioned at the top of you coming on this show right now. We can sit here for hours, and I don't want to prolong it. I don't want to keep going on too much. We get Henry on this show quite often, Chris. I mean, I hate to say it, man. I mean, if you felt like you wasted your time on here, please don't bullshit us. Tell us now. We'd love to get you back on this show, man. I mean, I know you'd rather relax, spend some time with with your friends and family and stuff like that. Focus on your fight mentally.
Watching porn on the internet.
Or watching porn on there ain't nothing wrong with that. We were putting on this earth to enjoy sex and watching sex and stuff like that. So that's absolutely fine. I ain't mad at you on that, Chris, at all. But Chris, look, Henry is a trivia competitor on this show. We'll have Henry on here every single show, and he knows that. We almost do have him on here on almost every single show. But Chris, we don't get you enough, and we got to try to kind of break the stigma of you hate doing radio shows. I know we're not the biggest time, but we have literally we cross over to Europe, Australia, I mean all around the world, and we get the fighters from there to come on. They bring their fans, and like I said, you are a trend on here as far as bringing up heavyweight names from all these heavyweights from around the world that come on this show, and they always bring your name up. We got to say, like this, man, we can't deal with having you on once a year, man. We got to get the dynamic duo of the Electric One, handsome Henry Ramirez, and Nightmare Chris Arreola on here much more often. And we promise it won't be an hour like it was tonight. We'll definitely cut it to at least 30 minutes. But we got to get you. We got to kind of entrap you right here on the show. I mean, tell me no. Say Frank.
You know what? I'll tell you. How about like 2 days before the fight on a Thursday?
How about Wednesday? We have shows on Wednesdays. Let's do Wednesday.
Sounds good. Henry?
Hey, guys, see, Chris is easy to do a show. He's easy to get to do a show like the week of the fight. Like when I know where he's at 24/7, hey, Chris, we're going to do that. Okay, cool. When he's at home and so it's hard to get him to commit because sometimes he won't answer the phone. It's just like
you.
But the week of the fight, man, he's actually pretty good about doing whatever we need. As far as
we don't want him doing the interviews that he gives everybody else because then it's the same old shit. We want the the exclusive Chris Arreola and Henry Ramirez because guess what?
No, it's gonna be raw and uncut. You know how we roll.
Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna sit. We don't. Honest to God, let's look.
I've seen
Bermane Stiverne beat up guys inside the gym. I've seen him fight on television. I think he's a great fighter, but I think let's face it. You're a level above him, man, Chris. You're a level above him, and you don't underestimate him at all because in this division, one punch shakes up everything. You know what I'm saying? But in this case, we're not going to look past him.
Never.
We want to get you back on the show 2-3 days before the fight and not talk about Bermane Stiverne. We want you to talk about you and Henry getting into bar fights and
I'll let you know how my first few days in Venezuela have went when I get on the show. Chris will be in his room, but I'm going to be like, oh, man.
See, this guy gets to reap all the rewards of everything, of travel, of every time like we go like to New York or Jersey. It doesn't matter where we at. He always finds something to do. Mexico. Oh no, I found something there.
What did you find there? In closing, Chris, what did you find there?
Oh no, just this place called Indra. It was good times.
Oh, we got to look into Elliot. You got that in. You soaked that in, right? We got to make sure because we're going to look that up and we'll figure it out ourselves. No, but Chris, we got to get you back on there, man, because look, we need Henry to go in there, experience Venezuela, and we need you to comment on it and tell us the stories about it, because just in case, we know Henry might not remember exactly what he's done in Venezuela.
And I'll have a co-pilot with me. I'm taking Josecito along, so he'll be right there with me every step of the way. We'll be know exactly how it went.
We're getting a terrific trio on the line then. The Wednesday before the fight, we'll get the terrific trio, Henry Ramirez, Josecito Lopez, and our main man, Chris Arreola. Guys, let me say it like this. You guys are on Twitter, @TheElectric1. Chris, you don't even use your Twitter. I know you.
I don't even have a Twitter.
That's a fake Twitter, guys. Please put that out there.
It's not me.
That's a fake one.
Yeah, I don't have a Twitter.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you see some the guy saying God bless and this and that, I'm like, I would never say that. Those words would never come out of my mouth.
Are you an atheist, Chris?
Oh no, but I just wouldn't say it.
No, that's fine.
Wait, Chris.
I believe in God. I go to church. I go to Christian church, but I'm not the guy that's gonna be all praise be to Jesus and all this. I believe in him and I keep that to myself. You don't need to know what I believe in.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. But hey, real quick, man, Henry, Chris, and this is in the finale of closings. Final words out there for the fans. I mean, you guys have, Ellie came on here and he did mention, you're the mayor of Riverside. I mean, Chris, you're a tremendous, humongous superstar in boxing. Send a message out there, man, to the people listening or will be listening to the replay of the show.
You know what? First of all, man, I just appreciate every fan out there, and I love every hater. And please keep hating because it's just making me better. I'm gonna finish out this year with a bang. I hope you guys are able to watch it somewhere. I don't know where. We'll figure it out. And thank you. I appreciate every one of them. Hey, thanks for your time. This is pretty fun. It was a good time.
And we tried. We had to make it that way, man. You can't have a bad time with Chris Arreola and Henry Ramirez. Henry, you've been on this show countless times, man, and I know that was it's one of the reasons why you keep coming back, because I know you have a good time when you come on here. You're one of the best trainers in the game, man. You got a tremendous stable. We're still waiting for you to send us some of your younger up and coming fighters that you're working with right now. But throw some words out there for the fans, please.
Same thing. You know, I mean, you know, I appreciate you guys having me on. You know, I never hesitate to come on for you guys. You know, I mean, like I said, we're
because Henry's single.
We're looking to close out 2012 strong, and looking to really make a big push next year, 2013, with Jose, Chris, and everybody I work with. You know, and just, you know, the best is, to me, the best is yet to come still.
Yeah, buddy.
Much love. Yo, guys, I really appreciate it. And, you know, I feel like, you know, you guys are definitely, you know, one of the bright spots in boxing. And, I mean, boxing's had a tremendous year in 2012. But, you know, I think 2013 with you guys, you know, producing some great fights in the future. Thank you. You know, say thank you because, you know, you give us, we enjoy coming on here talking 2-3 hours a night on this radio program, and it's because of you guys. So, you know, all the best. Come your fight in December with Bermane Stiverne, but we're gonna have you on the Wednesday before. We're gonna work. We're gonna keep that in there. Yo, you gentlemen have a great night. You know, so much, man. Thank you for your time from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, man. You guys have a good one. God bless.
Have a great night.
All right. Likewise, guys. Take care. I got to get back to X Factor.
There you go. Get it in. Good night, guys. Thank you. Woo! That's all I gotta say, guys. Yo, what? And look, there's only a few of us here. Real quick, I know we have. I apologize. Thomas Cornflake Lamano actually was sitting on the line. He got off. He's coming to Vegas next week to inconvenience and bother me for about 5-6 days. So no. Shout out to Thomas Cornflake Lamano. 10-0. That's a nice little ring to it. Top Rope Radio this Sunday night. The premier ATG Radio Network's own, the number one professional wrestling talk radio show is going down this Sunday. The always impatient Johnny White Trash Logan never stays on in time because, look, face it like this, man, we put on a fucking sensational show, multi-thousands of listens tonight, live across the world, and we appreciate every single one of you guys. And we encourage anybody that's in there that's a wrestling fan, tune in this Sunday night. Always some goodies. And one of our good friends on the show, co-host of Top Rope Radio, Big Jim, is in the house right now. Big Jim, before we close out the show, you know what? I actually give you a sincere and seriously a tremendous amount of props for sticking on the line. Why? Because you guys deserve it. You guys are a sensational radio show. It takes us 150 minutes to basically get boxing stuff out of the way, and it was a tremendous show. But we got to tell you right now, Big Jim, tell us what's going on this Sunday night. Co-host Top Rope Radio.
We've got an AIWF press conference in the first hour, and then in the second hour, forgive me, I forget the gentleman's name, but we've got a big star from ROH. Johnny's got an interview at the top of the second hour.
Michael Elgin.
Yes, Michael Elgin. Yes. But the big thing, you know, for me is I get the main event this week on 30 Minutes with Big Jim. We had the lovely Claudia Del Solis. She's one of the top lady wrestlers from the Texas, Oklahoma, Mexico, California area. And I'll have a good time. It's gonna be great. Just be sure that everybody to tune in at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central for Top Rope Radio. We're gonna have a party.
That's right. You can listen. You can listen to Top Rope Radio on ATGRadio.com.
That's right.
Yeah, check it out there. You can actually, you know, not just that. You can actually listen to this. This is the way this works out really good. You can go to boxingpulse.com, read the sensational news that they have and views and updates there, and then click on the ATG Radio link that's right on the side. So this is Sunday before 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Go there about 6:30 p.m. Listen to yourself one of the great interviews they got there. Read some of the sensational news that they got there. And then right on the right-hand side, you got the link, dog. We're family, man. You know what I'm saying? ATG Boxing Pulse into his house. And like I said, I guess, you know, even Top Rope Radio has been a tremendous thing for us. I enjoy one of my favorite segments. You know, the entire show